Hello and welcome to Automne. Obviously, the name is in French. Not sure if it's a French story or a French Canadian story. Very pretty. It's new-ish. I believe that they only have the first chapter, and it's also going to be like a very short chapter, just like an introduction to the story. It revolves around this little white squirrel, right here on the right. And I believe the quote-unquote love interest is going to be the one right here in the middle. I guess by the name, it's going to take place during autumn. We'll see. I really don't know much about this, to be honest. I think that the only thing that I know about it is that the squirrel is going back home after losing a job and then losing their partner. And by losing, I mean that they like break up with them or something like that. And that's about it. Then again, that's how most stories start. At the very least, he's not a college student. He is going back to his hometown, which is a college town, but Anyway, so I guess without further ado, let us begin Automne. This is a work of fiction. All names, characters, business, places, events, and incidents are products of the author's imagination, or Chapter 1. The first frost, I think that's what that says. It's a small plane. I think my dad used to call them puddle jumpers. The boar next to me has slept the entire flight, his solid frame pressing me against the wall of the plane. I reach up and brush my hair away from my eyes, then settle my forehead against the cool window. It's dark out. Lights are scattered across the land below in an intricate pattern. The intercoms crackle. Ladies and gentlemen, we've begun our descent into Alder Falls. Please turn off and stow all electronic devices. At this time, we ask for the seat backs to be returned to their full and upright position. Please secure any carry-on items and stow away your tray table as we prepare for landing. There is a grunt followed by a snore as the boar shifts in his seat, either feigning sleep or missing the announcement entirely. Only when the steward strolls through the aisles and shakes the gentleman awake does he follow directions. After he has a scowl on his face, these planes are small, so it must be uncomfortable for him. I continue to gaze out the window, tugging at the collar of my jacket to help with the airflow. My eyes wander back and forth across the changing landscape, picking out the river the town is named after, along with the hard-top dome of the local college. My ears pop during the descent, and I swallow hard to equalize the pressure. Tires give the faintest squeak as rubber hits the tarmac, and the plane shakes when all wheels finally touch down. When I was younger, 3 different airlines serviced the local airport, but we no longer have the luxury of options when flying into Alder Falls. It's only American Airlines now. 2 flights a day, 1 in the morning and 1 coming in ungodly late at night. As there is no other traffic to fight, it only takes a few minutes to taxi to the gate. The seatbelt sign dims, and all around me people are hurrying to their feet and popping the overhead bins. I just wait. Breathing becomes a little easier as the boar steps into the aisle, finally giving me room to relax. The bunny couple across the way looks annoyed with his girth. They look over at me and, assuming to find camaraderie, roll their eyes. I just wait. When the plane is almost empty, I reach down and pull a bristling backpack from beneath the seat in front of me. As I stand, I realize just how hot the plane is. I'm damp. I'm uncomfortable. I pull my duffel free of the overhead bin and sling it in front of me so that I can fit it down the narrow aisles. As I exit the plane, the steward flashes me a very feline smile, the same that appeared any time that I've glanced his way during the flight. Enjoy your stay in Alder Falls. He may be flirting, but it's late, it's hot, and I just want to go to bed, so all I can do is mumble in return. Thanks. The jet bridge is cool, refreshingly so, and a sense of relief hits me as I pass through to the terminal. My eyes squint at the harsh fluorescent light. It's a big change from the plane. I don't have to look long though. The only other squirrel in the small waiting area stands, her lips pulling into a wide smile as she sees me and makes her way over. Hi, Ma. It comes out quiet as I drop the duffel to my side. The hesitance, ache, and happiness I'm feeling are present as I curl my arms around her for a ferocious hug. Oh, it's so good to see you. I can tell she's trying to hold back her emotions. The hug alone is proof of that. When it finally breaks, she places both hands on my shoulders, an eyebrow raising as her tail flicks behind her. Checked luggage? I tap the duffel bag with my foot and shrug. Just this. Though it's more than last time that I was home, she glances between the bag on the floor and the bag on my back. You always did travel light. She goes to pick up the duffel bag and I object. It's alright, I got it. At about that time, I realize my brothers aren't here. Caleb and Evan at home? There's a rich chuckle before she answers. Dear, it's after 11 and a school night. I'm sure they're long asleep by now. I give a mischievous grin. I don't know. When I was 16, this was about the perfect time to get up to trouble. Her fingers prod my chest. When you were 16, your father was around to help keep you in line. That stings a little, so I carry on smiling and heft my shoulders in a shrug. I grab my second bag and flick my head towards the exit. Without another word, we step into the crisp autumn air. She's parked a little ways down the loading zone. One of the nice things about a small airport is that they don't really bother with ticketing and towing. She's also friends with a few of the folks who work for American here, so that helps. I toss my bags into the back of her station wagon, then climb into the front seat, making sure to pull my tail to the side so as not to sit on it. She starts the car and turns my way. I just want to let it warm up a little. It's getting pretty old. I nod in return. Kinda like us. There's a quiet sigh before she responds even quieter. Yes. She pulls away from the curb and begins to quick drive back home. I haven't been back in 3 years, not since my father passed away. She keeps looking forward, but she finally says, I know it's late. I know you probably don't want to talk about it now. Her voice cracks slightly. But I just want you to know that I'm sorry about what happened with your job. And your partner. My eyes burn. I can't tell if it's the dry air from the plane, or if I'm trying to convince myself that because I can feel tears welling up. Thanks, Ma. I rub my nose against the back of my hand, then reach up to rub my eyes with a thumb and a forefinger. The rest of the ride is pretty quiet, which helps me calm down and just think about bed. She pulls up and parks. I look out the window at the house that I grew up in. You paint it? Yeah, it's green now. It's nice. We undo our seatbelts and step out into the cool night air. I gather my bags and follow her up and into the house. She glances over her shoulder. I've gone ahead and changed the sheets on your bed. You know where the towels are. If you want to take a shower tonight, that is. I give a warm smile, toeing off my shoes. I just like to go to bed. She gives me another hug and kisses my cheek before pulling back. Go do that. Sleep well. I sneak as quietly as I can upstairs and to my old room. Deja vu sets in hard as I look around. Aside from the few belongings I took when I graduated from college, everything is still the same. I set both bags on the foot of the dresser, then look at the collected toys and trinkets scattered across the wood surface. I can tell that the room has been cleaned recently. My shoulders shrug as I work off my leather jacket. It's tossed into the nearby armchair. I peel the shirt I'm wearing off my body and undo my pants. Both are abandoned on the floor, and with the zip, I retrieve my phone charger from a pocket on the side of my backpack. Heavy feet guide me to bed. My fingers curl beneath the comforter, blanket, and sheet, drawing them back before I can take a seat at the edge of the bed. My tail curls tightly behind me as I lean down and take off my socks. Toes splay and then I shift, pulling the surge protector from beneath the bed and plugging my phone into the charger. I click the home button and swipe up to bring the device out of airplane mode. I wait a moment, seeing if I have any new messages before climbing under the pile of blankets and rolling onto my stomach. Even though it has been years, the bed still smells like me. Well, a younger me. My right arm tucks underneath the pillow and sleep follows quickly. It only seems like a moment has passed, but bright morning light has come to rest on my face, drawing me from slumber reluctantly. I smack my lips, mouth feeling tacky and dry, and I want nothing more than a cup of coffee. Climbing out of bed reveals how stiff I am, and I gingerly approach the door, peeking out before I descend the stairs and head to the kitchen. My tail is still waking up. It gives a few slow shakes behind me as I go through the motions of making a pot of coffee, still the same drip motion, so being half asleep isn't a problem. Filter, coffee, tap water, start. As the machine comes to life, I open the cabinet above and pull out a small white coffee mug. Time seems to crawl, but eventually the machine comes to a stop with a gurgle. I pick up the pot of coffee, pour slowly, then return it to the warming plate. I collect the mug with both hands, warming them before heading back to my room. Floorboards creak along the way, my ears twitching as I start to hear the faint noises of stirring bodies. I shut my door, then reach down and lock it. It's a few steps to the window and I draw back the curtains, taking a good look out of my street for the first time since I arrived last night. Yes, my street. The curtains fall back into place with a soft thump as I finally set them free. I curl my free hand once more around the coffee mug and lift it up to my lips, pursing to blow across the surface of my drink. The muffled sound of laughter brings a lopsided smile to my face. I think that's Evan. I'll have to ask what was so funny later. I breathe deeply, enjoying the rich, almost metallic smell of my coffee. The ceramic is hot against my lips, drawing a throaty grunt from me as I take my first drink. It's just after 7 in the morning, and based on my look outside, the weather cooled off enough overnight for frost to stick. As quickly as I savor the first sip of coffee, the mug is abandoned at my bedside table. Reaching down to the charging station partially hidden under the bed, I retrieve my phone. With an over-exaggerated stretch, my body falls back, hitting the mattress with yet another soft thump. At 32, I wasn't expecting to be living at home, yet here I am. Knuckles wander across my chest, scratching, as I yawn and wrinkle back till I'm half under the comforter again. If I could just sleep till spring. I mumble while thumbing in the code to unlock my phone. But then again, I'm not a bear. My lips pull into a buck-toothed smile at my silly joke, and I flick the screen a few times and open one of my favorite apps, Rougher. Eyes travel over to the door for a brief second, making sure it's locked, before I let my unoccupied hand sneak down and adjust myself through my briefs. Is he about to do what I think he's about to do? Perfect squares with perfect men. It's never been a boost for self-esteem, but the voyeur in me has always loved these kind of apps. There is a bit of worry on the back of my head, wondering if anyone I know also uses the app, but after looking at a few handsome faces and headless torso shots, I push it aside. Plus, I haven't been home in almost 3 years. I'm sure anyone who knew me would either be married with kids at this age or just surprised to see me back in town. My claws need to be trimmed. I mumble while scrolling through the local meet. Having got in late, I navigate through to the viewer section. Nothing new, surprisingly. But then again, my phone was in airplane mode till just before I passed out. I'm awake. I choke while stuffing myself back into my undies. Of course you are. I don't expect your brothers to know how to make coffee. Comes the amused voice from the other side of the door. I just wanted to let you know that I'm about to take the twins to school. There's some buckwheat pancakes and bacon holding in the oven if you want them. Thanks, Ma. My body shifts and rolls to the side as I prop up on my elbow and grab my now lukewarm cup of coffee to slug it. You're quite welcome, Corey. There is a pause. It's good to have you home. We love you. I have no idea how I miss her approach, The floorboard in the hallway gives a deep creak as she wanders back to the stairs. My ears perk and swivel, and I breathe through my nose as I finish up my mug of coffee. I hear her bark after a few. Evan, Caleb, hurry up or you're going to be late for school. In unison, she gets her reply. Coming. Feet are stomping down the hall. God, was I this loud when I was their age? I'll have to ask Ma. Then there is a quick rhythmic stamping as they race down the stairs. The door opens and slams, and then just a nice golden silence. I'm not horny anymore, so I set the phone on the nightstand and get on up and head over to my duffel. Now that I'm free from the warmth of the bed, I can really tell how chilly it is. I shuffle around the clothes and find what I'm looking for. I toss on a pair of jeans and a baseball tee onto the bed. The last thing that I pull free is a pair of yoga pants. I shimmy into them, then grab my dope kit and head to the door. There is an audible click as I undo the lock, and even though I know that I'm alone, I peek my head into the hallway first, glancing in either direction before I slip out and head to the bathroom. Once the door is closed, I hook my thumb on the waistline and shuck pants and underwear in one quick go. I kick them aside and open the glass door cabinet to retrieve a towel. I'm not sure what I'll get up to today, but even though the clawfoot tub is calling my name, I don't really want to commit to that much time in the bathroom. I draw the vinyl curtain on the recessed shower, then reach it to start the water. My hand adjusts the timer on the combo fan and heat lamp. If I'm here for longer than 15 minutes, I can't guarantee hot water. Maybe I should use some of my savings to get a new hot water heater for the house. Mom has mentioned the current one has been dying for at least a year now. After threading the towel through the rack on the wall next to the shower, I dip back to the sink, hands resting against the edge of the porcelain basin as I inspect myself in the mirror. I lean forward to check for bags under my eyes. Iowa is only a 2-hour time difference from the Bay, but even that is enough to mess up my sleep. Satisfied, I take a long look at myself. For a squirrel, I have a decent build, not overly bulky, just chipped away at the right proportions. I turn, reflection following suit obviously, and flex. A bucktooth grin emerges as I watch muscle take more visible shape under my downy white fur. That giant bristled tail of mine shakes approvingly as my eyes take in that rounded ass. If there's anything that I made sure to take away from my personal trainer, it was proper form on squats. My nose itches. I rub it. Oh, sweet fuck. I look at my hand with disgust and come to the realization that smell is me. It's somewhere between vinegar and, well, not good. I laugh, making a note to wash my... then dip over to the shower. Steam is billowing out of the 6 free inches at the top so that I can make sure to check the temperature before getting in. Hot, not scalding. As I step in, my body relaxes and I lean against the wooden wall. Having so much fur means that I feel heavy when I get this soaked, but it's good. A sobering affirmation to what's real. Unconsciously, I grab my shampoo from the shower caddy. I blink a few times, water running down my muzzle. Wait, it's in my dope kit. The bottle in my hands is the right brand, though. Of course, Ma would make sure that what I need is in the house. It's almost like I haven't left. Having albinoism means that I have sensitive skin. I know this stuff isn't cheap, so I'll have to pay her back. Lord knows that she won't want to take the money, so I'll sneak it into her purse or something. Using my thumb claw, I pop open the plastic lid. I squeeze a decent amount of the clear gel into my left hand, then place the bottle back into the caddy. With my fur this wet, I won't need to keep the water running, at least not while I lather up. Making sure not to adjust the temperature, I press on the faucet, pausing the flow of water for now. Though it costs an arm and a leg, the shampoo has always been amazing. You don't really need much to get clean, even when you're as hairy as I am. My hands make quick work of it, bringing the shampoo to a nice foam before I begin to work it into my wet fur. I'm sure that being crammed into a full flight with heaters running full blast along with sleeping under a cold weather down comforter is why I stink. So first priority is obviously those trouble spots. I tuck my hands under my arms briefly, leaving a bit of soap before rubbing at my and under my... I reach back under my tail, which looks ridiculously soaked wet, and running my mitts along the cleft of my rump. With the soap more or less distributed, I get to cleaning in earnest. My ears perk as I hear a little chirp. 5 minutes till the heat lamp is off. I build the lather through my tail, fingers doing their best to run through the fur of the unruly appendage. God, you can be annoying. and mumble as it flicks in agitation, almost like a kid that doesn't want to be cleaned. By this point, I'm chilly for the lack of hot water. I pull on the faucet, letting out an audible grunt as hot water flows over my form. I shut my eyes, head dipping and chin meeting my chest as the suds roll down my body. It only takes a minute or so to rinse fully. After shutting off the water, I draw back the shower curtain and reach for my towel. I dry as best as I can, but having such thick fur means that the hairdryer is necessary to finish the job. The heat lamp clicks off as I go about this task. Only after getting my tail to just damp do I accept that I am not going to hurry the process along. I leave the soaked towel in the back of the tub. Water pulls away and runs slowly towards the drain. I retrieve my yoga pants and crack the door. Ma? My ears go perk as I listen for a reply. Good, she's still out, so I strut on back to my room, tail flickering behind me. There was a moment of rifling through my duffel again as I pull out a new pair of briefs and a thick pair of socks. I hum to myself as I get dressed. No song in particular, just humming. After pulling on my shirt, I retrieve my phone from the nightstand, press the home button once to give it life, and grin as I stare at the screen. There is a message. It simply reads, "Hey." I unlock the phone and Ruffer populates the screen again. Oh man, I forgot about you. The profile that caught my interest is once more highlighted. I'll be back. I say with my best Austrian accent. Back button, menu, messages. Wait, it was him. He wrote. I click to his profile from the chat log and tap his picture. He's a Wolverine. From what I can see in the picture, that stereotype for being a glutton may just be true. He looks like a giant. When something interests me, I have that habit of taking in every detail, like down to the minute. In the photo, he wears an apologetic grin. Combined with his hazel eyes, he almost looks sad. His hands are raised, like he's showing away whoever is taking the photo. They're huge. I tap his photo, then press pinch fingers to the screen and drag them apart to zoom in. This is when I take in all those tiny details. The deep V of his shirt, those leather patches on his elbows of his tweed blazer, how the fabric of his clothes bunch under his pecs and around his crotch. I mean, I'm looking at the style of stitching, the metal used for the grommets and buckles. It's ridiculous. I finally stop myself, zoom back out, and scroll up to take in his handsome face once again. My thumb pauses over the back button, but I want to read his profile before I respond. He's local, only a half-mile away. Fuck, he is huge, 6'6" and 300 pounds. I scroll, ears flickering back slightly as I read, widowed. I can't help but wonder if the person who took the photo was his deceased partner. There is no mention of age, and the body of his profile is simple enough. Like cooking, reading, mostly fiction, and using my hands to create, spend too much time alone and working to change that. I click the back button once again, returning to the chat. There's butterflies in my stomach, and I really don't know how to answer, so I choose the most inane way to progress the conversation. Howdy, I quickly type back before pressing send. I flop on the bed again, rolling onto my side and reaching back to tug my tail free so that it can continue to dry. How are you? I follow up a brief moment later. I thumb the power button on the side of the phone, then stretch, body giving a little quiver as I yawn. My phone buzzes, startling me, and I dropped it to the floor. Well, that was quick. I roll to my stomach and reach down to grab it. Draped half off the bed, I thumb the home button again, quickly reading his reply. Good. First frost last night. You in town? Visiting? Something like that. I type in return. Grew up in the area and back for an indefinite period of time. Send. I nudge back from the edge of the bed and stare at the screen. Welcome back. And a moment later, I'm Stefan. It's a pleasure. I'm Corey. My thumbs type out quickly in response. For me too, comes a second later. A stupid grin finds its way to my face, and when the next message pops up, I laugh. So, what kinds of things do you put in jars? It's been a while since I have updated my profile. I had forgotten that I put that in there. Beach glass, corks, agates, string, things like that. There was a longer pause before his next message. That's nice. A very organized way to keep collections. I'm something of an amateur chef, so was wondering if you meant canning or jams or jellies. I reach back and drag a hand through the fur of my tail, more or less dry, so I roll onto my back and carry on with the conversation. I can hold my own in the kitchen, though I wouldn't boast of my abilities. After clicking send, I remember the bacon and pancakes waiting downstairs. I don't want to get out of bed, but the edge of hunger is setting in. With a grunt, I sit up and sling my legs off the bed. My phone is slipped into the pocket of my jeans and I head on downstairs. Once in the kitchen, I turn off the oven. It was only set to 200. Hopefully the pancakes haven't dried out too much. My pocket vibrates, but it can wait. So I grab a plate and an oven mitt, retrieve the foiled cookie tray from the oven, and set it on top of the stove. Utensils are still in the same drawer, and I pause, turning to look at the rest of the kitchen and out into the dining room. Aside from what's held in the fridge with magnets and more pictures of Evan and Caleb, not much has changed. I open the fridge and grab the maple syrup, and my pocket is buzzing again. Someone's thirsty. I laugh as the door is closing. Paper flutters off, revealing a picture of me, a much younger version of me, probably the same age as the twins. I reach up, pressing a couple of fingers to the photo and wonder how similar I am to the old version of me. Don't get sappy. I roll my eyes at myself before retrieving the paper, a report card it turns out, from the floor. It's returned to the fridge door beneath a magnet of a pineapple, my grandmother's I believe, and I get to prepping breakfast. Unfortunately, the time I spent edging, showering, and just generally digging around has left the pancakes a little dry. Buckwheat pancakes are good, but they don't tend to retain moisture the same way that traditional pancakes do. The bacon is also quite crispy, nothing a little syrup can't fix though. As I undo the cap of the grade B, my pocket vibrates yet again. I can't help but smile as I pour a generous amount of syrup across my breakfast, making note that the rich amber is pretty close to the Wolverine's fur. I abandon the jug on the counter and then start to cut my stack using the side of my fork. At this point, I pull my phone from my pocket. I click the home button, powering on the device, and feel a little sad when I see that I've only gotten 2 messages from the Gulo. The other a text from my mom. Heading to the store to pick up a few things. Need anything? As it's the most recent message, I answer it at first. I could use a new toothbrush, medium firmness please. Also, please let me pay you for anything that you bought when you know that I'd be coming home. I back out of the messages and flick back over to Ruffer, returning to the conversation that I'd started with Stefan. I start over his messages in quick succession. Good. I like a partner that can keep up. Followed 7 minutes later by, apologies, that was presumptuous of me. His sad smile flashes through my mind and immediately I feel guilty for not responding quicker. My thumb flies across the miniature keyboard on the screen. Sorry, my stomach started rumbling when I got to thinking about food and I had to get something to eat. I click send but follow up with a photo of pancakes and bacon too. I grab the fork, spearing both pancake and bacon, then take a bite. Maple syrup rolls slowly down my chin as I clean it up with a knuckle, then lick my finger clean. The combination of sweet and salt and earth is real good. A lot of people don't really like buckwheat because it does have that nutty, almost earthiness to it. But to me, it feels like home. His next response is almost an apology. Sorry, I guess it is breakfast. I just thought that I may have said something wrong. My nails click on the screen. Please stop apologizing. It's quite alright. I don't know if emotes are appropriate or not, but it's the only thing that I can think to add to really show him it's fine. I'd been anticipating the next question, but wasn't sure how direct he would be. So, what do you usually look for in a guy? I take another bite, thinking about that. With how sincere he's been, I'm honestly not sure how to answer. Usually by this point, I'm at least familiar with the other guy's junk. Shots are usually the response to say hello in San Francisco. What a hard question. They have to at least have somewhat nice teeth, I finally answer. Which after rereading makes me look a little bit crazy, so I follow up with, bad teeth scare me. Which also after reading makes me look even crazier, so I swallow what I'm chewing and quickly type out, but really it's about chemistry, right? How well you get along, how you complement each other. I shouldn't have been worried about using emotes because his answer is simply lol. I can feel my ears flush as I stab a piece of bacon and smear it through the syrup. There are a couple more messages from him in short order though. Very true, the teeth made me laugh, actually laugh, and compatibility and chemistry are very important. As I nibble the overcrisp bacon, I can't really think of how to respond, so I just continue with, what I've got. I get really uncomfortable around people with bad teeth. I don't know why. I do know why, but I don't want to tell him. His response is quick. Mine are normal. I can only assume that the picture he sends was just taken. He's smiling. It's genuine, and so different than the one in the photo that I've studied earlier. A pair of copper-framed glasses sit atop his muzzle. I don't think he's wearing a shirt, but it's hard to tell since this really is just a candid selfie. That smile though, his lips have parted so that I have a decent look at his teeth. And they're good. A message slides down from the top of the screen, another message from Mom. Got you a toothbrush. No money needed. Maybe buy pizza tonight for us? I tap the home key and send her a quick response. Sounds good. See you in a bit. Back, swipe, rougher. I click out of the photo, back to the conversation, and find his response. See, real teeth. I take a few more bites, chewing slowly before answering. You're very handsome. Again, his response is almost immediate. As are you. A couple of seconds later, another loads. This is also one of the most relaxed conversations that I have had here. Thank you. Having finished breakfast, I rinse the plate, then deposit it in the dishwasher. You're welcome. I typed out. I take a deep breath and stretch. His response again is quick. Would you like to meet for coffee? And then just after that, if you're not busy, that is. You know what? Sure. I say while typing an answer. Cup of joe, 10 o'clock? The response is succinct. I'll see you there, Corey. To be continued. Written by Bjakery? So the people on the Rougher app are the developers? Oh, that name, Kinu. Is that who I think it is? Come on, tell me who the... Who, is that him? I'm just waiting on confirmation for that one in the middle right now, and then another one that was at the way top. Yeah, Red and Saber. Saber is the one right there, the purple dragon kind of looking one, and Red is the one on top, all the way at the top. It's been a few months since the initial build for Chapter 1 came out. Hopefully this refresher with updated backgrounds will help tidy y'all over. Thank you all for reading, and we'll see you soon for Chapter 2, Promenade. Well, there you go. So, a couple of things that stood out. The Wolverine, it said that he was a widower. And technically you could be a widower at like my age, 35. God. But that's not always that common. I mean, so I'm wondering how old this guy is? I mean, technically the squirrel is 32, so this guy was maybe 40? So that wouldn't be that big of an age gap. I mean, not big of an age gap to be that, oh my god. Another thing that's funny to start a visual novel where the initial conversations with the other character is through a grinder, growler, barker type app. Funny, inventive, I like it. A lot of the same uses for it, yeah. Anyways, I'm curious what this big house has to do. I'm assuming it's the Wolverines, Stephens. I'm still curious as to the usage of French And according to the developers on their HIO page, where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? Oh, there it goes. You can probably sort of figure out where the story's gonna go based on the names of the chapters. Promenade, the Maison. Like, if you know French, then you can read these names. I know enough French to be able to read it, but to like definitively know what it's saying, I do not. So yeah, there's gonna be the chapters are already set, so you already know how many chapters there's gonna be. So 13. But yeah. So, what did you guys think so far? And apparently this is the revision for the first chapter, which now includes better backgrounds. But yeah. Anyway, so, write down in the comments what you think, and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Automne yourself, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the Twitter page, the one right here. I'm not gonna call it the other one. I could also probably post a link for their Blue Sky since it's already free for everyone to use. I do not know if they have some form of support like Patreon or Ko-fi yet, so that may or may not be down in the description, but they do have a Discord, so you can go looking for that if you want. And I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Also, again, pertinent links down in the description, and bye-bye.